Welcome to Hollywood, where thousands of people every year sell all of their belongings and make the journey away from their hometown in order to be the next big star, only to have their plans shattered when they realize how difficult it actually is to make it in the film business. And along with an extremely competitive market for actors is the extremely competitive market of owning a film studio. Today, we take a stab at being the next blockbuster studio in the movies. Development started in late 2001 by Lionhead Studios, envisioned by executive designer Peter Molyneux. Yes, the same guy from Dungeon Keeper. He had a brand new idea for a simulation game. If we learned anything from Dungeon Keeper, it's that Molyneux definitely likes to go above and beyond with his concepts. The concept of this new simulation game was inspired by Hollywood Mogul, which allowed you to create your own movie studio as well. Molyneux wanted to set the movies apart from this game by allowing the players the freedom to create and direct their own movies. During E3 in 2002, Lionhead announced their new game and received an extraordinarily positive response from fans and distributors. Due to several changes to the engine they were using, the game took roughly 4 years to be completed. Finally, in late 2005, the game was released and was published through Activision. About 7 months later, an expansion called The Movies: Stunts and Effects was released. This expansion pack allowed the player to use special effects, stunts, and stunt doubles. However, one of the biggest additions was the ability to use your own camera angles when designing your movies. There were plans for ports to be created for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube, but this was stopped when Lionhead was bought by Microsoft. In February of 2006, the plug was pulled on the game due to poor sales, and the ports were never created. Ironically, 7 months after being cancelled, the Mac version of the game won a BAFTA for the Best Simulation Game of 2006. We play as an anonymous film mogul in the 1920s with the goal of becoming successful. It's our job to hire builders, screenwriters, actors, and crew members in order to make the films possible. The instant we jump into the game, we're presented with what looks like The Sims. From the way the buildings and character models look, to the way you interact with your people, if you didn't know any better, you would think you're just playing a Sims expansion. However, this isn't really a bad thing. When creating your own characters and sets, everything looks... Okay, so everything what the fuck? I don't know what's going on here, but for now you're gonna have to deal with the characters looking like this. The music in the game ranges between the different ages of film, the earliest being from the silent film era and the latest being from the 20th century. Along with the original soundtrack, you're also given a radio station to listen to called KMVS. In each era, there's a different DJ that sticks to a specific style, such as disco in the 70s or grunge in the 90s. Although this is a pretty neat feature to get you sucked into the game, it's nothing amazing and usually goes unnoticed. Aside from music, the radio stations will often talk about specific events related to the era as well. While again, nothing revolutionary, combined, all of these small details make the time periods feel very distinct from one another. As stated earlier, your only objective is to build the best movie studio in the world, and you must do this by following the real workflow of a functional production house. The first step is your script. The game provides you with scripts at the beginning, since you can't really afford screenwriters or a screenwriting office. The downside to this is that the provided scripts are a very low rating, but it is better than nothing. Eventually, you can afford a screenwriting office where you can hire screenwriters to work on your scripts. You can either spread out multiple writers to work on different projects, or have them work together to finish a project faster. If you can win a specific award during your playthrough, you can then unlock the custom script writing office. This office allows you to write your own screenplays. This may sound intense, but it's nothing like writing an actual script. Instead, you'll just be laying out the scenes in the order that you like. The amount of detail you can go into with a custom script is unbelievable. Aside from setting up your scenes, you can also dress the set however you see fit by placing props anywhere in the scene. You can also set reactions of characters, change the scene lighting, and add extras, just to name a few. Each scene you can add is categorized within filters such as violence, traveling, conversation, or incidental. And there's also a search feature to look for a specific type of shot. There's honestly so much you can do in this mode, and it truly takes a long time to set up a film the exact way you want. Although there's no time limit for your custom film, you can naturally only create a project that your budget will allow. It's important to note that a 10-minute film could take about 20 in-game years of filming to finish. Next up is having the director read your script. This can be done in the casting office. While they're reading your script, you can also assign an actor or actress to study the script as well. While they're busy reading over the material, you'll now have a decent amount of time to make sure you have all of the necessary sets and crew ready to go. After filming is done, it's off to post-production, where you can add subtitles, music, and voiceover to your films. Once everything is said and done, you can submit your film to the public, where you'll be given a review by the critics. While later on in the game you'll need an enormous crew to keep up with the big budget films, in the beginning you'll only be required to use a director, actor, cameraman, and clapboard operator. This is the absolute minimum needed to get your movie made. One interesting mechanic is that your actors, actresses, or even directors can get stressed out to the point of resorting to alcoholism or overeating. You have to constantly watch everyone's meters and make sure they're happy at all times. Apart from your crew, you'll also be tasked with creating and maintaining your studio lot. This means that you'll have to find an even balance between buildings, grass, trees, and decorations to keep everybody happy, along with having a convenient layout of sets and buildings in relation to everything else. Your sets and buildings can also decay, which in turn will lower the quality of your movies and give you a lower rating. This can easily be fixed by hiring maintenance personnel to keep everything up to date. There's a lot to this game, and we're quite aware we glossed over features along with leaving some minor things out. The amount of detail involved, along with the amount of planning needed to make a good movie, is just ridiculous, but in a good way. The game keeps you learning, and if you have the patience, you can apply what you've learned and make your own custom film, which is an incredible accomplishment. And we didn't forget to mention the messed up character models. As it turns out, missing character models are just one of the many game-breaking bugs this game has, with another being the game freezing and then crashing on you for no reason. We experienced both of these many times while trying to play the game. The fix for this was the expansion pack, which for us didn't fix any of these problems at all. And Lionhead never issued a patch to fix such a common bug. We even tested every solution we could find in forums, which would fix one problem temporarily, but then introduce more issues that weren't there in the first place. We would have said this game holds up, because it's truly a fun experience and something we could see ourselves investing more time into. But because of all these bugs that completely ruin the experience, we unfortunately have to say that this game does not hold up. Wow.